What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. I am your host, Phil Robinson. I'm waiting for Jones to get in. We got an action-packed show full of Raider content to get to, tell you all about some of these top 30 visits, tell you about a little story coming out of New England. John Elway is no longer with the Broncos. None of that would really care, except for as a Raider fan, it's always a good thing to watch somebody else stick it to horse face. Also, with him being gone, could the Broncos suddenly get better? Also, and last but not least, we go through the roster and look at the way that it's constructed, look at the moves that have been made, and see what is available in the draft and where do they potentially go from here. All that and more on this installment of the Unfiltered Truth. Let's get it cracking. And we're back. Q, what's up, my brother? So it's been a while since the last time we've been on. There's been a bunch of stuff, bunch of noise that's going on. We've heard a lot about top 30 visits. We've heard a lot about who is on the radar, who isn't on the radar. I think most recently we've heard about the meeting with Bryce Young. What's up, Dre? The Raiders are having a top 30 visit with Bryce Young, and this was after he tested the best in the class, I believe, at his cognitive abilities, which doesn't surprise me at all. If you watched his pro day and you listen to the way that he spoke, and you've done any light digging into his background, you would know that he comes from very intelligent people, and that being a genius or having a very high IQ is exactly what you would expect from Bryce Young. And I've said it best, for all that he does, Bryce he's just it. Just it. But I don't want to go into too much before Jones shows up. So I see Q, I see Dre. If you're online watching, drop me a comment. Say what's up. We'll hold the show up till Jones gets here. Said he asked me not to put no. Why is there no publicity for DTR coming out? Because he's not going to be a first round draft pick. You look at what he did at the combine, and I've actually thought he had a pretty strong combine. He may have had some limitations in his deep pass, but I like DTR. DTR's got dog in him and lots of it, and he'll forever be criticized for being in a Chip Kelly offense and for running whatever it is that they do out at UCLA and not giving his propers, but he makes some good decisions when he has time to throw the football. He throws an accurate ball. He can run with it, and whenever you need a play, he's going to go out on his shield trying to make it. He makes it more time than he doesn't, but he's not what everybody wants to see as their number one quarterback or what they want to draft. And that's really all there is to it. As for they also were, like I said, I'm trying to hold off waiting for Jones, because Jones said he was going to be here. And he's got some hot info for you too about the draft order. Now, it's funny that you look at some of the reports that have finally started to filter out there. Oh, well, Houston may not be taking a quarterback. Houston may be going Will Anderson at number 2. And that's not a surprise to me, and it shouldn't be a surprise to any of you if you've watched the show. We told you that at D'Amico Ryan's first head coaching gig in Houston, as defensive oriented as he is, he lives, he breathes, he is defense. There was no way in the world that I believe that when it goes into the draft, that his first go round to having the top job, that he was going to go and get a player that he did not know how to coach best. I tell you, we can take a look at Carolina. For all of the talk that you've heard about CJ Stroud, CJ Stroud isn't really a scheme fit for what Frank Reich does. Now, what many people will say otherwise, talk about quick reads, throws, all of that. But Reich is more of an RPO guy. That's what he won with in Philadelphia. That's what he thought he was getting out of Carson Wentz in Indy. Then he tried a statue of quarterback with old man Rivers, and that got him to Carolina. But Jones has some more info on that whole scoop, so I'm not going to steal his thunder about that either. But since we're here with a couple minutes, what do you guys want to talk about? So like and share. Great conversation. I agree. You should like and share. Do I think that we can go after DTR in the later rounds? Absolutely. I really don't think that he's going to be drafted before possibly mid third or fourth. I could be wrong, but I don't see it that particular way. So why so many offensive players? I'm glad you asked, Dre, because as Phil Jones can tell you, defense no longer wins championships.
High scoring offense. What the fuck you want me to say?
The aim of this regime is to score points and lots of them. They're at this point, I guess, with where their defense is and how they're going to rebuild it, the easiest way for them to get better on defense is to score more on offense.
Why so many offensive plays? Shit. Let's be real. Depth. What was hurting us last year on offense? You had no Waller. You didn't have no Renfro. You gotta have that's key guys that you're missing. You going and upgrade that? Okay, shit. We can go with him. He's still a good guarantee. I can get you this, this, and this. Woo, woo, woo. Now, defense. Whoo, man. We gonna need a lot. A lot. We gonna need. We gonna need Oprah's giveaway.
Well, the funny thing about that is that with 12 draft picks, they'll be able to be in the audience at Oprah's giveaway. Said it'll just depend on which gift they catch and who they fight for what. But now that you're here, I can stop speaking in circles and we can get straight to it. Top 30 visits. First, the Raiders met. They had Zay Flowers. Then there was Will Levis. We don't really want to talk about him, even though we must. Will Levis is a very real possibility at QB, just like anybody else. They have him. McDaniels likes him. But the word that's gotten out recently is that the inconsistency issues are troubling, and I just had to believe that at some point that was going to become the issue that it should have been. Jones, you got any feelings on that?
I mean, what you expect? I mean, we saw this during his collegiate career at Kentucky. You saw it right after he came. It really stood out after his injury. When he came back, he's playing against unranked schools and just struggling to even get 14 on the board. His accuracy, timing of his throws were off. I'm going to be real here. There were folks during the offseason talking about Levis having more upside than Anthony Richardson. It's literally the opposite, in my opinion. And the tape shows it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was Levis, he's trying to be this running quarterback, and he doesn't really need that. If
not him,
every time you need to be worrying about running, you got pressure. Only time. But there were times that and there was no need to even do it. Too much mayo on the coffee. But I hope Ziegler and McDaniels see that. I mean, in my opinion, I think that Dave Ziegler damn sure sees it. I think Champ Kelly sees that. Now, Giles, is he willing to open and see it? That is the question.
The big question, because he's the one that's going to have to work with Will Levis. And while you look at what they've done recently in terms of the signing of Brian Hoyer, now first, as we address that, Brian Hoyer is currently 37 and going to be 38. Now, there's been some talk about the job of coaching behind the scenes that he's done and aiding with development. And so with Brian Hoyer, you would have what would be a great situation for a young player to come in and really learn the system and have it broken down for them while being able to watch it be applied on the field before having to take over. And that would be.
Oh, go on. Finish up. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that would be very fortuitous for the rookie, incoming rookie. And so during the season, Brian Hoyer is going to be 38 years old. Yeah. And that rookie is going to be legitimately two injuries, 2 hits away from starting.
Yeah. But I will say this, the knowledge that Brian Hoyer does carry as a quarterback and what he's seen the years, it's a plus. Now, he has some decent as he's been a journeyman quarterback, but him teaching a young player, in which he did do that at New England, he actually did it with Mac Jones for, I think, that rookie season. He helped him out with that. So if you do draft your rookie quarterback, that's going to right there. Even if he has to sit, he can gain all that knowledge and information he needs. Now, I'm saying this defense has been neglected.
Daddy
I think because
went out for some cigarettes and never came back.
Damn. Did you really? Look,
just like the comment, it was there for 1 second and then it was gone, just like all the hope. But go ahead. You were saying.
I will say this: from the way things are shaping up and the way things are looking, your first round is going to be quarterback, and then for the draft, it's just going to be defense to the tip. Just defense. Now, if they go and get a offensive lineman or there's a guy that played for Tennessee, University of Tennessee. You can get Darnell. Should I say his name?
I believe it's Darnell Wright.
Right here. Yeah, Darnell Wright. I want to get him 3rd round, and this man a challenge. Nobody could really get past him. I'm the Raiders. I'm taking them. Now, talent in this draft defense, like, I need some of you guys to understand. Everybody that's jumping around saying, oh, that guy's going the 1st round. That guy's going the 1st round. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy's 1st round. Okay? That guy will be there. I could say Jack Campbell. That's a guy you can grab and need a linebacker. Ivan Pace will be there in the 3rd round as well. Shit, if you wanted a Keely Ringo from Georgia. Here's the upside about Ringo. Ringo can play on the outside with this corner and can also play safety. That is how versatile he is. So if you want to look at something adding that to your team, that's something that Patrick Graham would love to have. I know he do a lot of things with multiple DBs on the back end. Only having like 1 or 2 linebackers out there. I mean, let's be real. I think that was a smart pickup right there. And still got was it Sidney? Is it Sidney Brown from Illinois?
No, he's gone. I think he went to Seattle.
No. You think
Brown? You talking about the safety, Sidney Brown?
I'm talking about Illinois' safety.
Safety, yeah.
That's another guy you could grab. So there is talent through this entire draft. People keep thinking that, everything's at the end, the near, whoa. Here's the other thing you got to understand. There's going to be guys getting released the draft. The veterans they had on their roster end up being cut. And they probably wasn't even shitty. People cut that you suck. No. There could be 2 things. Maybe they don't fit the system. It's a new organization coming in. That's one. The second thing is this. Well, he's at this certain age, but we just brought in a younger guy more than him. Or maybe to do with the salary cap on contract issues. But doesn't all sucks. And I need some of you guys to really understand that. The Raiders can go out in free agency once they finish up with the draft. Oh, I froze up again? Damn.
Yeah.
I'm here.
I thought that was me. I know I hear you, but you're facing the desk. So
can you hear me now? You see me moving?
Yeah, no, we can hear you. We can't now. You're back to moving.
Okay. But yeah, I froze again. Jesus Christ.
Taking them trips out there to Jamaica, I see.
Off your internet, that's what probably is.
Ain't
I
nothing
told
wrong
you about running that damn Metro PPS internet, bro. Because I'm not freezing right here.
Yeah, well, they're seeing you freeze.
Let me see something. Hold on.
Regardless,
I can do this. Go on.
Said we can hear you preach the Raiders' honest truth. Fantastic. They can all hear you. That is wonderful. Anyway, but there's a lot that can go on. Like you said, you get the quarterback early, you go defense. The majority of this draft, 12 picks. If they don't, whether they decide to trade up to 3, 4, whatever it is that they trade up, is a different aspect to that. But they're going to make a top 10 pick this year, this draft. And if we talk about DBs, and you brought up Sidney Brown. I like Devin Witherspoon. I also like Christian Gonzalez. And looking at the smooth, I like the physicality. It's kind of like a two different clash of styles, if you will. You got the hard hitting, super uber physical Devin Witherspoon versus the technician in Christian Gonzalez. And in pass coverage, I like Gonzalez a little bit better, but but the total package of Witherspoon is definitely alluring. Okay. So you can hide backstage? What are you doing? We can still hear you. Until we couldn't. But in any case, there's been a lot of talk, like I was saying earlier. They love Bryce Young. Bryce Young has familiarity in the system. Bryce Young fits the exact profile of what Josh McDaniels would be looking for in a quarterback, except for the fact that he's not 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", or 6'1".
Yeah. I mean, with Bryce Young, it's just, look, I don't give a fuck about his height. I mean, nope. We got quarterbacks like Russell Wilson. Now, granted, Russell Wilson had his fuckery this year, but the thing of it is, it's intelligence. Your knowledge on the field, knowing how to pick apart a defense, knowing how to extend plays, knowing how to take your game to the next level by any means necessary. That is Bryce Young. You can't have a quarterback scared as fuck, thrown into the ground on 4th and 2. You're not going to get shit done. You're not going to win. Bryce Young's that guy. Bryce Young, I'll say, I use that Tennessee game from last year was a prime example. When things weren't working out in his way, he still found ways to get back in that game. Even though he had support with his running game, he's found ways to maneuver and keep his team in the game. So my whole thing is, I need a quarterback like that. The Raiders need a quarterback like that. Now everybody's thinking you got to get the number 2 overall pick. No. Because the Texans ain't taking a quarterback. That's the first thing. 3rd overall pick. Yeah. Probably going to have to trade up for that. The Colts, from what I've been gathering, is this. Everybody's thinking C.J. Stroud's going the 1st overall pick. Might be Mayo Cough. Everybody's been all hyped with the whole, oh, well, you know, they love Stroud. They can get Bryce. Ain't nobody covering one guy for multiple damn games during their college season. You look at it, that's the only thing that's really, Phil, that's the only thing that's really got me. Just Indianapolis. They've been weird lately.
It's hard. They're wide open. You look at the offense and you think, what do they need more than anything? They need a quarterback. But they just got a new coach, old boy from Philly. Then you look at the players that they have. They got wide receivers. They got Jonathan Taylor. They got They have an offensive line that it was a good offensive line and had a really bad year last year. Most of it was injury, and a lot of that was just a down year and no real offensive philosophy out there. Then you switch coaches and you bring in Saturday, and so it was a mess.
Yeah.
So you have Gardner Minshew, who I believe is capable of winning in this league. He's done it before. I watched him at Washington State, and he tore it up. He tore it up there and did everything that you could ask a quarterback to do in terms of executing the system, making the proper reads and the throws. Gardner Minshew is serviceable, so, and is serviceable to average. I'll say. I think that's fair.
And the one thing I'm also going to add is this. Think about a rookie head coach, quarterback. That don't add up.
Not for a coach who intends to be there longer than a year or two.
Because usually coming in as a rookie head coach, you want to have a veteran quarterback starting. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to have that quarterback starting that can okay, this gives me some time. I want this guy. And then, if this doesn't work out, we're going to get that guy next year.
Make no mistake.
And it's another example why Houston's not getting a quarterback.
Nope.
And to be honest, he's continued to speak about Davis Mills, because the one thing is Davis Mills didn't have an O-line. He ain't had no damn wide receivers. I mean, if you go through that roster and say receivers were plausible, you need to be your tight end position was inconsistent. Now you look at free agency. They went Robert Woods. You went and got what was it? Dalton or who tight end they got? Dalton Schultz from Dallas. They got him. And then now they've been putting stuff together on their defense and need some of the things that they traded a rusher.
Mm-hmm. And
I wonder,
Will Anderson is the best defensive player in this draft. Just plain and simple. And you look at what D'Amico Ryans does with his defense and how does he attack, and it's with a dominant pass rush, a dominant defensive end, a dominant edge player, and Will Anderson is going to be that guy for him.
Absolutely.
And so, but like you said, you go through that, and while you have Mayo as pick number one, to me, in my opinion, Richardson is the guy that they have moved up to take at number one. After the combine is when they made that move all the way up to one. And while some may say that the Raiders were trying to get the pick from the Bears, which they were, I've heard that, you've heard that, and quite frankly, it's called doing your due diligence and what you have to try to do in order to get better. I respect it. But so Carolina was able to go all the way up to one to get their guy, and that was right after Richardson shined brightly. You look in the news, and Cam Newton, who went from saying that there are 32 quarterbacks, not 32 quarterbacks better than he is, to now I'm okay with being a backup. His natural comparison is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson can start in this league in one NFL system, and that NFL system is the RPO.
Yep.
And Frank Reich coaches the RPO. Frank Reich has been about the business and the Panthers organization of adding a lot of talent to their skill positions in order to best utilize the skill set of a guy who can throw deep, a guy who can fake a handoff and run and properly execute a what? An RPO, Phil. An RPO.
Cade, I don't look. Mr. Morehouse, I'm going to tell you this right now. That is throwing yards in his trash. If you're trash, you ain't throwing 300 yards. Now, if you're not good or you're average, we could say that. Well, that giraffe says, "Bitch, I'm in the NFL." I mean, you throwing what? 300 yards in England, the Rams defense, Seattle, Tennessee. So let's go to the next year. That was his rookie year. Cade, how come I ain't never seen your goddamn neck? He threw 300 yards against us, the Giants, who was a playoff team this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could keep going down the road and just say, maybe if you give that guy the easy. I'm just going to say, maybe you give the guy some protection. Maybe if you give the guy some weapons, he can get some shit done. Now, granted, we said that for one guy, and he still didn't get shit done.
Well, but Davis Mills hasn't had 9 years.
That's true.
And he certainly hasn't
Davis
had
Mills
anything.
Davis was fighting for his life.
They finally gave him a running back this year. They gave him Damian Pierce.
And then he got hurt, and it was like, oh, shit. So, hence why I'm saying, if you actually believe you can win with Davis Mills, then you know something that people don't know. I believe they can do it, and I want them to do it. Now, our situation, because that's the main topic right here. We didn't say quarterback. Now, Phil, what's scenario 2?
Scenario 2 is defensive superstar at 7.
You take that tall ass corner from, or do you grab an edge rusher?
In this particular situation, when you look at what they have on the roster with Nate Hobbs, Brandon Faison, Amik Robertson, then you brought in Duke Shelley, another 5'9" corner. You know how I feel about that. But
he's more of a nickel guy.
Yeah. But who is a difference maker there? So far, you've got a lot of contributors, but not a difference maker. And you're looking at Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, real difference makers. And not only that, but in Gonzalez, you have a coverage superstar. David Long as well. You're right, onto 6. You have a superstar, which is what you need. I believe that Nate Hobbs is best in the slot. So that means that you need 2 outside guys. I'd like to have 6'2" outside corners. I just would like that. That's what I would be looking to draft.
I named one. You can get one in the first round. Going to make that move?
I prefer to get the quarterback, but if the quarterback is not available, yes, I would make that move.
But I think the way things have been shaping up lately, a lot of shit difference in going on. I think you end up getting your quarterback. Yeah, Tyree Wilson, he's another guy. But the thing about it, that foot, that's the only thing.
Big men with foot problems is not a good combination, but even still, you've got 3 teams in front of you at 7 that you would need to take defense or that will be taking defense. Arizona, Seattle, and most likely that would be the Detroit, right?
Yeah. I think Seattle will probably end up taking an edge rusher or a D lineman. Mm-hmm. I really think they're going to end up taking Carter. And then you're also looking at Atlanta. I think they're going to end up – Atlanta probably is going to end up going they're going to end up going probably edge rusher.
Yeah, but isn't Atlanta 8? No. That's somebody else.
No. I think they are. Hold on.
Yeah. They're picking after we are. But regardless of that fact. Regardless of that fact, you got 3 teams looking to draft offense, 3 teams looking to draft defense. Out of those 3 teams who are picking early, could you say that 3 of them need quarterbacks? You could. I'd say 2 for sure. Houston's going to wait because they're going defense first. And so I don't and the Colts are really the wild card. Now, Arizona doesn't need a QB, obviously. Seattle just paid Geno all that money. It wouldn't make sense to draft a guy in the first round. That'd just be silly.
Be a waste.
And then, Detroit has their guy in golf.
And golf,
they were rolling.
Great.
Yeah, I hope to God they start next season out as hot as they ended this one.
I think golf and them, they already got Aiden.
They got Marvin Jones. Got Aiden
Hutchinson on that defense. The thing with that defense, they're probably going to need a D tackle. So I don't know. Maybe Carter might be one of their guys too.
Who's the other defensive end?
Shit. Hold on, I got my list.
So they probably looking to add in the secondary, add another edge rusher, probably, and I believe they lost Bobby Okereke. I don't even know how you say his name. His last one. Okereke. Yeah, Okereke.
Yeah, that was the Colts.
No, they had a guy too. Oh, what was his name? Who was pretty decent that I believe they lost. That my Lions Connect gonna kill me, butchering his team like this.
Don't beat your ass. Beat that boy's ass.
But they got some holes on their defense and that need to get patched up in order for them to get to where they need to go. I believe they've got all of a vast majority of the pieces on offense. They could add to the offensive line as well, obviously. But in order for them to get to where they need to go, they need to get significantly better on defense. The NFC North is wide open, and I really think that defense is going to ultimately be where Dan Campbell goes at the start of this draft. And so that leaves us.
Can I have a quick laugh? Can I have a quick laugh? Everybody's going to be willing to laugh with me. Hey,
go for it.
What the fuck happened with the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets shit?
So I'm glad that you brought that up because that is funny. But the answer to that I have is that while we're laughing about that whole thing, Green Bay is getting ready to royally fuck themselves by playing hardball. They can do all this shit that they want to do. If that man chooses not to retire and they don't move him before the draft, they will have to pay That $59 million is capped. So they can play all the hardball they want to play, but the only person that's going to get left holding the bag is them.
That is funny as shit, bruh. I'm like, hold up. You mean to tell me you motherfuckers still ain't figured this shit out? And like, you didn't got all of Green Bay's former assets and shit. The fuck? You mean you didn't trade it for all of that shit? No deal done.
All of it.
All of that. I'm just like, really? Everybody was hyping this shit. It's a done deal. Trey Wingo, what the fuck were you talking about, bro? Where you at, Trey? You know you
done deal. Done
Trey,
deal.
you know you been fucked up. It's a done deal. Aaron Rodgers is where?
Wow.
Where?
Because they cleared up the cap space to keep them. They are now sitting at 20, almost 22 million under the cap with Rodgers' contract.
No, the Jets fucked themselves. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
The Jets have fucked themselves. Now the Jets are cut off and like, oh God, we need a quarterback. Oh my God. Nah, you stuck with that mother now.
Zach Wilson.
Y'all stuck with the MILFs. The MILFs there.
Yeah. It's about the only thing he's slaying too. So, but let's switch it up and let's get into these top 30 visits. So as we know and have been reported and confirmed, the Raiders are scheduling or have had top 30 visits with CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Aiden O'Connell, Kelly Ringo, Brian Branch, Jamie Robinson, Zay Flowers, Jalen Duncan, Jalen Carter, Jordan Howden, and Deion Henley. So right off the bat, you look at one position group in general that's got all the attention is the quarterback. So at some point, they will be drafting a quarterback no matter what they say about who they've drafted, who they've got on the roster thus far. They're looking at DBs, corners, safeties, and linebacker combo guys. Zay Flowers is widely considered the best wide receiver in this year's draft out of Boston College, of all places.
You mean Zay Flowers?
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
You said Jalen?
Zay Flowers.
Jalen
Duncan. Jalen Carter. And at linebacker, you have Jordan Howden and Deion Henley. So I went back and I looked at the linebackers on the roster so far, and you got Curtis Bolton, Darian Butler, Divine Diablo, Luke Masterson, Kenai Moaga, learn how to read my own writing, and Robert Spillane. Most of these guys are about 6'1", 2 in the mid to high 220s. I think you got one guy over 230, two guys over 230. Ideally, you're going to need to get a little bigger than that. These guys, you wonder why you get pushed around in the run game. These guys aren't holding up or able to get off of blocks. They're getting engulfed. And the one major difference that you saw with, we are brain farting today. With, really, man, I know he's just on my mind too. Perryman is who I was thinking of. While he was slightly under 6 feet tall, he was still coming in at 250 and laying the lumber. You need an enforcer, a overly physical type, and Divine Diablo has not been that guy. Now, can Robert Spillane do that? That remains to be seen. He did some of it. To me, he looked like more of a blitzer and a rusher and run support, but I still would like to see a guy who's a little bit bigger than that. And not while Henley may not Henley may not be 240, but he's great in coverage, which has also been a deficiency at the linebacking position. I see that smile on your face. What's going on?
What do you want from your linebacker? You want them to run at least a 4.6?
I do. What do I want? At least a 4.
You want a big ass strong
linebacker
linebacker that's gonna lay the wood on you.
I prefer 4.5.
Knock your dick in the dirt, right?
4.45.
You want about 4.45?
Yep.
Okay. What do you want is 3-cone drill to be? What do you want is 10-yard split second to be?
3-cone in the low low sixes. 10-yard split. Ideally, probably in the 1.6s, 1.7s. Probably 1.5 would be nice. Ideal.
Okay, I got one guy that's his 10-yard splits was 1.59.
Mm-hmm.
3-cone drill was 6.7. Broad jump was what, 10/8. 40-yard was a 4.6.
That's good enough.
And he's big as he's 6'5". 250.
Yeah, how much does it? Drew Sanders?
Hell no.
No, he was 6'3" and 230 something.
He a farm bred motherfucker.
What is his name, good sir?
They call that man Jock Campbell.
Figured you were going to say that. He's not very fluid in space, and I didn't really care for his pass coverage, but that's a solid third round option. Second to third round option. I'd even say, dare I say, third and fourth. Wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, he's about a sack. He's about
I'd say third, but to each their own. He'll be in a at this level coming up. He looks like he'd be more of an assignment player than an instinctual player. I think that you'd be using him to execute the defense the way that it was designed to be executed and get to his spot and be there and make the play when it comes to him.
He does wait. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I would. For me personally, I would like a guy a tad bit more instinctual and a little bit more fluid in his play recognition and getting to the ball. But Campbell absolutely would be a solid pickup and improvement, or an improvement under what they have already.
He'd be better than the other guy that they got.
He'd be better than a lot of other guys that they got, but they've been saying Robert's getting the green dot. Haven't you heard?
I mean, we hear a lot of things.
The poor man's Drew Tranquil does all the same things,
but I mean, things change. We say that they're going to do this, they're going to do that, but what usually happens, things tend to change. Nothing's set in stone yet. That's why I keep trying to tell folks, everybody ready to get the tiki torches and shit and be losing their goddamn mind.
Could always take a nice USC defensive lineman in the second round. Here they hold up pretty well.
And everybody's screaming about Lucas Van Ness. Let's go on and get Van Ness.
What did I have on Lucas Van? My book is in the car. I want to say when I'm thinking about what I wrote down about Lucas Van Ness, and I'll have to go back and check, but I remembered watching his combine and thinking that he was a little stiffer, no homo, than what I'd like to see in my defensive end. A lot of people said stuff about not having bend, and when I watched him go through his pass rush drills, I didn't really see a lot of it. Now, I could be wrong, but again, like I said, when I think about it, that's what I think was that very rigid in his movements.
Yeah. Or I'm not going back and touching any of their players ever again. Fucking Clemson. No.
Yeah, I'm cool off of that.
So
I mean, I was not.
I got PTSD. Okay.
And
I got PTSD from Clemson players.
And Breesy did not impress me.
Man.
Simpson is a wild card, but I'm not ready. Like you said, I'm not ready to ride that ride.
And that's why I was literally looking at. No, I'm not going there again.
I think that you can come up with something a little bit more solid than that.
And then hear a whole speech of good character player. That's a damn trigger. Oh shit, bro! I tell you, that really did some damage to this fan base.
I mean, listen, we went out on a limb. We went out on a limb and pounded the table, and were disappointed when the table broke on us. So,
what we have here are good character players, and oh my god,
high quality character, good men, love football.
Oh, stop! Oh my god. Now you want a trigger warning. That's all you got to do.
High character players. We want nothing but the best. It's a go out
Drew
party.
Sanders had a ball. And then
mustard and mayonnaise.
Noah Sewell. Who was my other guy? Yeah, I mean, Ivan Pace Jr.
Need a guy with oily hips, real stout at the point of attack, good lower base, real quality player. That's what we're looking for.
Now,
high quality gluten grinder, man. I want a guy who's ready to chop up, ready to bite off his own ankle, and then go out there and play on one leg, brother. That's what I want. Real grinder, brother.
I got a late round guy, but could actually be a STEM.
What do I feel about Eric Gentry from SC? 6'5", ran a 4.50, 4.59, and 4.67. That's progressively getting slower. That does worry me. And running that low at 205. So if he were to get to the proper amount, because 205 is not going to work. It's not going to work at this level. He's going to need to gain at minimum 20 pounds, and that's probably going to take at least 0.05 of a second to maybe 1/10 of a second added to his 40 time when he puts that weight on. I like what he can do. I didn't like the scheme that he was in, and I really feel like the scheme that he was in is going to do him a disservice, because when you think about USC's defense, you think about Tui is being the best, and then the rest of that was a substandard defense that managed to get a lot of interceptions on the back end. He's somebody that you'll probably be looking at in the mid to later rounds. How many starters are we going to get this draft? It depends on what you do with your first pick, and then two, then everything else from there will fall into play. They have the capital to move up and get whoever it is that they want. They have the capital to continue to move up into the earlier rounds and stack a lot of guys that can start. And with 12 draft picks overall, I would like to say that they should get at minimum at least 5 starters out of this.
I'm going to tell you this. The other thing you want to look at,
look
at some HBCU players too. I'm going to be real here. There's a few guys I've caught. Aubrey Miller, one of them. I believe what was it, Isaiah Land? He's another that I've caught an eye on. There are guys out there, but man, we got to hit it hard. He's another linebacker.
Second-year defensive tackles. You can't have a thought on a second-year guy until you've seen him on the field and seen the gains that he's made in the offseason. One of the largest detractions and disadvantages that draftees have is that they don't have a year in the pro strength and development program, and they don't have the goals. And when they come in, they'll be where they were at and where they've been working with their own guy off to the side. And so as Ziegler said, they've had their plans. They've had the strength plan, the schematic plans, or however it is that it's broken down. But until we get a chance to see them on the field and what they've done, we won't really know.
(6'3", 236) for an edge rusher. Wow.
Not big enough. Well, let me walk. No, I will say.
I mean, you remember you said that about Burns.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why. Because usually the guy that is that light is taller, a lot taller, like 6'6", 6'7", with longer arms in order to get around the corners. There's a requisite for that. If you're gonna be that light, you need to be you got to be a little taller so that you can create the space. Yeah, and that's one of the newer adaptations in defensive end play with tall, lighter guys who are getting around the big, slow guys. And so while that used to be a no-no, it just makes him a rotational pass rusher because he's a liability in the run game at 6'3", 236, you said, right?
Yeah.
It can't be an every down edge player. It's just not going to work.
Vertical. What are you looking for? What are you looking for on his vertical? If he's at that height.
At 6'3", 230, his vertical should be in the 40s.
Okay, about 35.
That's close enough. That's still close to 240, so that's still good enough.
But he moves like a linebacker. That's the thing. I'll send you his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to watch some tape on him and see. You could it can be the measurables are close. You know how I feel about defensive ends. Mine started at 250. And every draftee who comes in to play defensive end needs to gain 15 pounds. Don't care who it is.
But
unless they're
he
one of the
does
280s and 290s.
The one thing I did notice about him, he comes off the edge more like a linebacker. So that is a guy that you could probably that position.
So then my next question would be, how's he hold up in run support? Because it's one thing to come screaming off the edge like that. It's another to hold contain when the offensive lineman is firing out into you, or you're getting picked up by a pulling guard or whoever it is, whichever lineman is coming.
Well, sir, then we'll be having some last minute. But you know me, I always tend to pull up the stuff at the last and be like, ooh, wow. Let's see something.
Tyree Wilson, thoughts on him, Phil? I believe we said it earlier. Big man with a foot issue. Bad combination. No, whether they say it's good to go
I
or
have
not.
to see how. My only thing about that, I have to see. Oh wow. We're going to talk more on land after, because somebody's sending me some stuff right now. Tyree Wilson, I like him. It's just that foot, man. I don't know. Guys that are coming off a bad foot injury and then going into the draft, you're kind of like wondering, like, okay, is it going to hold up? Is it something that we need to go back? A team got to go back and really look at? Because if that foot goes, you like, what the fuck?
Because the next problem he has with his foot is going to be a bad one, a real bad one.
And I ain't wishing that.
And I'm not wishing that on nobody. It's just a fact. Big guys and foot issues don't end well.
Now let's see what he did for that. I wonder, did he run it? Okay, he ran a 4.8 for that 40 time, I believe.
While you're looking at that, what tight end from the draft would you like to see us draft? Washington. I'd like to see Washington. I'd like to see Dalton.
You can grab Washington the second round or third round.
Mm-hmm.
So 6'6", 275. I think you can, yeah.
I don't think that Washington's going to go in the first round. I'm curious on where Mayer and Kincaid has still got the back issue.
Dang, and he's slipping.
Yeah, he's falling. he's about
Everybody
to fall.
See, that's the other thing about Utah players. Y'all, they trying to be all bruises and shit, banged up.
It comes at a price.
Yeah.
It comes at a price.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That Tyree Wilson. That would excellent pickup. I mean, let me see how bad that foot injury was.
Let's see if he gets past Arizona, Seattle, or Detroit. So Tyree Wilson is a highly sought after commodity, regardless of whether his foot may be bad or may not be bad. And
so he was medically cleared, but didn't even participate in his pro day.
Not good. Really not good. But That's just me. That's just the way that I feel about it. But before we wrap this up, let's get into some interesting off-Raider talk with for all this Las Vegas Patriots stuff that you hear about, all of these assistants who are leaving New England or all these former players who are coming to McDaniels to get a start or continue their coaching career. They are in a full-on crisis over there with what they're doing on offense. They have no direction. They're going through offense that now that they got was it O'Brien who came back? But Matt Patricia has ruined Mac Jones's development to the point where young Mac Jones is openly criticizing the hoodie in New England. Surprised he's still alive, to be honest with you. But
something ain't right. I mean, hoodie ain't off, Dizzy.
So you got Bob Kraft coming out saying something wild and crazy. The hoodie saying something else. The players saying something else.
Well, but here's the thing. All of this news that we're hearing now, that was months ago.
Months.
So I don't know if tensions have calmed down. I think it has. I'm wondering if this was going on when they were still waiting to get Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering. We're hearing this news now because this shit sound. I mean, cause we knew about trade chatter and shit going back.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, you got to put two and two together. This shit was going on back then, and now everybody's figuring out like, oh well, this is happening.
They got permission, Phil. That's what happened. They got permission, like that famous turnaround when those who were riding on that white horse for a certain player suddenly turned and attacked.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. If the project doesn't work here, could you see JMD dumping us and going back to New England over the next 1 to 2 years if Bill leaves after 2025? Honestly, yes. The short answer would be yes. The real answer would be I don't give a shit what he does if it doesn't work here.
To be honest, I wouldn't even care.
At all. I would hope that he went over there and tanked that franchise too. Now, you'd ask at all. So now, Panda, you asked if Malcolm Kuntz would start over Chandler Jones, and I actually believe the guy that you need to watch to start over Chandler Jones is going to be Jordan Willis.
Yeah,
that's the guy. That's the guy to watch. That's the guy who was paying dividends for the Niners opposite of Nick Bosa in the absence of, D Ford?
Yeah. I mean, you got to also look, that 49ers D-line, if one guy went down, another guy was still good to go up. And then another one, and then another. I mean, shit.
So now the simple answer to that, Mikey G, is familiarity, and Ziegler and McDaniels wanting their own guys. Every coach, every regime wants their own guys because the guys that were here before couldn't win, which is why they're there.
I mean, let's be real. If you're a head coach, manager, you want to try to bring in everybody that you know their fucking job done, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes or no, ladies and gents? You want to know that, oh shit, let me go and bring my boy that was with me when I was here. This man got this fucking old running. I want you to come because I know the result over there. You can show it over here. need to start understanding that shit. Everybody's saying, well, how come our team's not doing this? How come our team's not doing that shit? It's because we always kept trying to keep guys that did not fit under this coaching philosophy. You had too many times that Gruden brings in one guy and that guy really didn't really fit under that philosophy. Or you go back to Del Rio. That guy didn't fit under the philosophy. So why the fuck is he there?
Mm-mm.
You can't keep mixing that shit up. When you mix that shit up, you get a shit show. Everybody has to be on the same page. If this guy's on the same page, you guys are what you're trying to this, and this, shit ain't gonna work. Shit with another losing record.
It's the way it goes on the discipline train.
You need to get guys that you can trust, that can do their job, that can help develop, teach, and guide the young players on this team. If you don't have that, you're going to be looking like Raiders from today. See, everybody needs to realize when Josh McDaniels went in Denver, do you really think he picked his own fucking guys? I really want you to really think right now. Who's been running that organization for God knows how fucking long? And now he's gone.
Gone.
That donkey face son of a bitch. John Elway.
That might be a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a bad thing.
Maybe. I don't know yet. I'm not going to say that shit. You know why?
Sean Payton. They got Sean Payton, and Sean Payton's overall record of making some stuff happen looks a little better than Elway's.
I mean, but shit, and then Sean Payton had and didn't even see the fucking playoffs.
Well,
so then there's that.
There's that.
So one thing that you can throw right there, I can at you with a large heaping pile of shit. So when I say everybody wants to jump on that train, be mindful.
So Dre, the word on. Go ahead, finish up.
Because let's be real here. Even when he lost fucking Drew Brees, he didn't make no playoffs. Exactly.
Brock Osweiler too.
Oof.
So nope, they were all hand coordinators in Denver.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, man, I still think about that Brock Osweiler contract from Cleveland. God damn.
Yikes. So, Dre, to answer your question, or word on the street is that Jimmy G will throw the ball with even a sliver of openness against the DBs. You ought to see how he throws against the linebackers in coverage. I saw a couple throws that was like, oh my God. He looked at that. He was throwing that ball regardless of what happened. He was throwing it to a spot, not to anybody, throwing it to a spot. And he completed that motherfucker too. That was what was crazy about it. Hey, you talk about a sliver of openness. I mean, the linebacker was cheating in that direction, and he still got it there. Who's got more pull, SP or JE, excluding Denver?
I think that's why Elway is out.
Yeah. I do too.
Now, I'm going to be real. The general manager that they pulled in, he ain't been so hot either.
Gonna be a yes man. Old Sean Payton's doing all the recruiting. You saw how he was chopping it up with Gronkowski. I believe Jimmy got paid after 2. Played in 2. Got hurt and got paid. That was incredible when you think about it. Payton is bringing back the rivalry between the Raiders and the Donkeys. He's certainly going to solve the Denver Broncos offensive woes some way, somehow. If he doesn't solve them this year, it'll be because he's in the process of figuring out who's going to play quarterback for him next year. The Broncos have had too much offensive weaponry to be getting the production that they've been getting, and that's why they've been losing football games and finding themselves where they found themselves, which is at the bottom of the division. The whatever. Donkeys have a long list of needs with only 6 draft picks, yet some mainstream media thinks they'll win the division. Listen, JP, bro, people say whatever they want to. I'm not here to argue with what people say. I've been trying to do that for too long. I can just simply offer you another point of view and the unfiltered truth of what the situation really is, because I'm not spinning narrative. We're not spinning narratives around here.
Nah.
Did the rivalry ever leave? I mean, it's been one-sided as of late, and I'd like it to continue to stay that way. But there was a time when it was one-sided in the other direction, and the Denver defense was completely stymieing the passing attack of this team and only limiting our passing offense to 150 yards and 2 turnovers. So it is what it is. Denver's they could draft a quarterback all they want to. It won't be in the first round, and it's certainly not going to be any of the top guys. Unless they pull off some incredible trade, which I'm not going to say that they can't, but
fuck that. No, they're not. You want to know why? Because ain't nobody picking up that motherfucker's contract right now. Nobody is picking
and they're not
up
getting
that
out of it either.
Right now.
They're not getting out of it either.
If the Broncos draft another quarterback again, they need to shoot themselves.
They're gonna be in the 7th round. That the Broncos. So whoever was asking about DTR, the Broncos would be your spot for DTR. Now, how he would hold up in the snow and that elevation is a question, but that would given his arm strength and what he can do, that would be a scary place for him to go. I said I want to see defense going. Well, like I said, we said it earlier, Mikey. I don't believe you were here yet. Defense no longer wins championships. You need a defense for pass rush, pass defense, and turnovers and situational stops. That's literally what wins Super Bowls these days, because the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls with some suspect looking defenses.
I'm gonna be real. The motherfuckers should have lost that damn game.
They should not have won them games, but they did because they had the best offensive player on the field, and they also won this last Super Bowl because that defense was able to keep the ball. Them and Patrick Mahomes was able to keep the ball away from Jalen Hurts, who was absolutely killing them.
Because the other thing is this. Eagles had one of the top defenses in the NFL. They still lost.
I believe it was the best, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So did the Buffalo Bills. So did the San Francisco 49ers. And each time said it came down to who had the ball last, and it was not the team with the good defense, because the team with the good defense had their best unit on the field instead of the team who had the ball. Oh, we're back to this. Hold on, we'll get to you in a second. If Raiders make no moves at 7, bruh, come on, man. Come on, man. There's no way. Carter might be there. There's no way in the world Will Anderson's going to be there at 7. It's just not going to happen. So DTR would work. Yeah. For Denver, that's probably one of the best places for him to be. Now, as for the offensive line upgrade, no, what you need is another year of continuity and for the young talent to continue to gel together and grow. Said you're not going to get a better offensive line than the production you got last season at the price that you're currently paying. It's just not going to happen. And a good portion of those numbers of sacks was from your quarterback holding the ball too long and tucking and curling in the face of pressure. Yes, touchdown for touchdown. Points win games. That's what wins games, having more points than the other team. Bars needs work. He does. He's not supposed to start. I believe they want Netani Moody to start. But he's going to have to earn the job. And for everybody that's hating on Bars had moments where he was very solid. Was he perfect? No. But didn't he also get hurt?
Yeah, he did.
Playing through injury. And the old if you're hurt, you're hurt. And if you're injured, you can't go. Well, I prefer Parham at right guard myself, but we'll see. We'll see what they do.
You got a point on that.
I prefer him at right guard, but we'll see. And the roster and depth chart, it's all bullshit. It doesn't mean anything until you see a guy line up on the field. I could tell you that right guard is going to play center. I could tell you that he's going to play tight end. I could tell you that he'll be, and then you could be looking at a Thayer Munford situation, who was drafted as a tackle but spent more time at tight end technically because you're running unbalanced lines. And the beauty of that is you take a guy who needs some reps and who needs a little bit of help and you give it to him because you change his responsibility and you know that there's additional protection inside of him.
Here's my thing. You were talking about Netani Matui.
Is that what Matui? Mutai?
Mutai.
Yeah, sounds good.
From out of Fresno. Okay, what if you end up? Speak up. What?
No, I was just gonna say that he came from Denver, I believe, off Denver's practice squad.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying. Just came out of college, but just moving Illuminor to guard.
He's listed as a guard tackle on the roster. I checked that earlier just to make sure, but I believe from what he said, they're bringing him back to play tackle at this time because he said he was going to form the best pair of bookends with Colt Miller in the league.
I'm gonna be real. You still got a 3-headed battle, man.
Absolutely. And competition is a great thing to have, but I also know that right now they currently have 8 offensive linemen, 9 offensive linemen.
You can count Illuminor. You got 6 tackles.
6 tackles, 5 guards, and 3 centers. So you got almost 13 guys on the line.
Yeah. And you still talking about trying to draft a fucking tackle? Nah, you ain't drafting no fucking tackle. I'm sorry. And I'm going to be real here. Because I'm looking at one of these guys, and you can literally move him inside, especially at his weight and size. I know he's a swing tackle, but I guess I got to do some research and some homework. Because if I'm right, they did move him to guard, but I'm not going to say it. I think they have moved him to guard before. I just got to go back and look at the tape.
Who, Illuminor?
No, I said I'm not going to say it.
Excuse me. Well, there it is. He's not going to say it, and that's all you need to know about it. God damn it, don't ask. All right, we won't tell, motherfucker. Shit. Final thoughts, Jones.
Final thoughts. I think we're looking at this. I think we're looking at this entire roster. We're in panic, but I think they see something else that we're not seeing. Now, granted, yes, they're going to end up drafting a handful of defensive guys, but you got to remember, all these guys they picked up. You just got to know which puzzle piece spot.
Because remember, Ziegler's looking at guys to fill situations and circumstances, not just general players.
Yeah.
That's the level of scouting that they're going to now. The depths of what they're looking for is not just is it a 4-down player, is it a 3-down player, but what down and what type of situation does this guy thrive in, and how do we find a guy that thrives in every particular situation, so that one guy for every separate situation, so that you always have a guy who's capable of doing exactly what's needed to be done on the field.
Exactly. And to be honest, you don't need. How many games did you have, Kev? How many games did you have for Rocky? Somebody give me a God-given reason why you should bring a guy back that you didn't have for your entire season.
Give him a raise, a substantial raise at that.
That man, the rest of his rookie contract out.
Get that man $1 million a game.
That's the problem. We keep trying to bring guys back that couldn't stay healthy that we fucking need. Where you at? Where you at? Looking around and shit. You look at Anthony Averett. What happened to him? Exactly. Looking the fuck at
4 games.
Come to think about it, yeah, looking at guys on this roster, them are situational guys. Guys that they thrive during this moment. When you need because you got to remember, they use their team as a rotation. Their defense. They weren't able to do that last year because you had a piping stack of injuries. First week, second week, third week. The list kept going. So what Patrick Graham really wanted to do, he couldn't do it.
At all.
I don't think their main mindset was to even have Chandler Jones be that every down guy. If you look before the season started, the guys, Kyle Frackle, they wanted to use him as one of the guys that brought in for the rotation. He was out for the season. Couldn't do it. So what I'm saying is, you gotta bring in guys that can play fucking 17 games, that can play 3 to 4 downs, not 2 to 3. You need 3 to 4. That is the problem with the Raiders last year and the year before. Get the guys that you know that are going to be fighting a full 60 minutes in a game. It's that simple.
So week in and week out, all 17 weeks, 18 weeks now. Right on, play it. Take care. Good night.
Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
That's all it is. That's all it is. So we will be looking to see you guys all next week, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we'll have another week of Raider content to deliver to y'all. So all of y'all, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, come back, get some more to Unfiltered Truth. We'd love to have you. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and God bless.